What's up, my friends? This is John Baruti from Baruti Success. Bink. This week we are talking about, we're so close to the new year. So close. We're talking about the number one resolution you should be making. Here we go. All right. 2022 is on us. It is right around the corner. This year, hopefully, will be a little better than last year and a lot better than the year before. But what are we talking about? I'll tell you what we're talking about. This week, we are talking about what you should be making your number one resolution as. What's that, John? What is it? What is it? Are we going to the moon? Are we following Elon Musk going to Mars? No. We're talking about financial independence here, people. That's right. Financial independence. All right? I know I talk a lot about, being a millionaire and all this stuff, but really when it comes down to it, all most of us want is financial independence. That we don't have to work if we don't want to. We probably will. Well, I will because I'm a mental patient. But, just having the fact of we can do what we want to do. And in order to do that, we have to do a couple things called investing. Yeah, we got to do it. Yeah. Listen, the whole point of me creating this channel was back in the day when I had employees, I found that they squandered a lot of money. And my guys and girls worked really hard and they spent money on stupid stuff. And I preached and moaned and said, listen, you can be independent. No, I can't. I don't make enough money. I don't care who you are. I don't care what kind of salary you have. I don't care what kind of living quarters you live in. Everyone, listen to me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at it. Look at it. Everyone can be financially independent over their lifetime. Are you going to do it overnight? No. Are you going to do it tomorrow night? No. Are you going to do it 7 years from now nights? No. It takes a long time. That's why I've talked to my kids since they were this big about putting money away and investing every year. Look, it's hard. It's not easy. Otherwise, everybody would be bazillionaires. But if I can take you, grab you, and teach anything this year, it's just start doing it. That's it. 90% of the problem is starting. The other 10% is continuing to do it, right? So I can tell you over the years how many people I've convinced into starting investing. And then I ask them a year later and they're like, yeah, I'm still doing it. Ask them 2 years later, well, little Johnny needed braces. No. I'm not telling you to tell little Johnny to go screw off. I'm not telling you to tell him that. What I'm telling you is that the money that you're going to put away, I'm going to show you how to automatically, easy breezy, peasy weezy, each week I'm going to show you how to do this and not think about it. Because when you think about it, that's when the problems come in. But what I'm trying to tell you is that once you start it, once you finally say, yes, John, this year I'm going to work towards being independently wealthy. Yes, because every day, every minute, every second, you don't, your money dies. Let that sink in. Your money dies. Every day, every second you're not investing. Period. What do you invest in? I'm showing you how to invest in stocks, but whatever you invest in, if you invest in wine, in art, in real estate, whatever you invest in, invest. Start today. And that's what we're going to talk about, all right? Starting today. So I'm going to go through a step-by-step way to automate it from start to finish, right? I've done videos with M1 Finance. I really love M1 Finance. I'm not sponsored, which sucks for me, but that's okay. I'm working up to that by M1, but I just love their platform. And if you're a trader and you want to learn, you want to trade, I don't know, Dogecoin or whatever you want to trade every day, or any kind of stocks, yeah, M1 Finance isn't for you. M1 Finance is a perfect platform to, say it with me now, say it, set it and forget it. That's right. Bringing back an 80s commercial. Set it and forget it. And this is what you need to do. You need to set it and forget it. And what does that mean? Well, I'm going to link up my last video on how to start an M1 Finance account. Okay? That's what you got to do. First thing is you got to open up an M1 Finance account. Okay? Once you have the M1 Finance account, you need to link your checking account. My suggestion is that you don't link up your personal checking, that you create an online checking. So this would be the structure. You have your regular checking account. Let's just say it's TD Bank. I have my regular TD Bank checking account. Then I have an online bank account. Let's call it Ally, whatever you want to call it, right? I would take money every week and automatically withdraw it from my regular checking to my Ally checking online. Then I would have M1 Finance. So you have one, two, three. You have your third leg. Have M1 Finance take the money out of the Ally checking. Now, this might be too complicated for most. It's fine. You can take the money out of, and don't do it, Karen. Don't do it. Don't make this little complication stop you from investing. Because our goal is to invest no matter what. 2022, you are going to do it. I'm telling you. I don't care who you are. You're going to start. Sorry, get on a rant. Okay? So if that's too complicated, and the reason I like that is because it's separation, right? I don't like the fact that that the investing platform has access directly to your main checking account. But that being said, you can. It's fine. It's not as much of a security issue as I make it out to. But again, I just like separation. Okay? That's fine. So let's assume you're not going to do that. Let's assume you're going to have an M1 Finance account here and your checking account here. You're going to link them up. So this one talks to this one. Okay? Now, once you do that, you've set up your M1 financing account. It is now linked to your checking account. The next thing you're going to do, this is what you're going to do. It's so simple. You're going to create a pie. And again, in the how to set up the account, I'll show you. And I'm probably going to show you a new video this week. It'll probably be right after this on setting up the pies in M1 Finance, what to put in it. And again, very simple. ETFs, Exchange Traded Fund, VOO. It's the whole stock market, right? Actually, it's the S&P 500, which is the best 500 companies in America, right? That's it. That's it. Mic drop. That's all you got to do. You don't have to be a trading genius. You don't have to trade and buy all these different things. Can you? Absolutely. And this is the wonderful reason why I want you to start. And I want you to start this simplistic, no-brainer account. You're going to set up your pie. You're going to make that pie VOO. Then, listen to me. Listen. This is the important part. In M1 Finance, you're going to open up the Autoinvest. It's a little slide. Again, I'll show you the video. It's a little slide. You're going to auto-invest, okay? Which means you're going to take money out of your regular checking account and move it every week. Every week. Let's say you get paid every other week. Fine. Do it every other week. But I want the minimum. The minimum. The minimum, Joe, Karen, Bob. Okay? The minimum. Absolute minimum to be $25 a week. That is $100 a month. Right? Okay? Now, you're saying you can't do that. Yes, you can. You can figure it out. If I told you that our President Biden was going to tell you that he was going to tax every single person in the United States $100 a month, or you don't live in the Americas, what would you do? You would do it. you would figure it out. So if the government can dictate how much we have to pay in taxes, why can't you just tax yourself and be preemptive and say to yourself, I'm going to tax myself $25 a week, $50 a week, $100 a week, preferably. I would love it if you could do $100 a week. That should be your goal. And if you're a big earner, you're making a few $100,000 a year, then you should be, my friend, $250 to $300 to $500 per week. You just should, okay? But the average person making the average salary, and where I'm going with that, let's say $50,000 to $100,000 a year, $100 a week. Seriously, find it in the budget. And not only that, the average tax return refund is, I believe, $2,800, $2,900 a year. Okay? Cut it in half. Use the half for whatever you want, for that vacation or whatever. But put the other half into your investment fund, right? And that breaks down to, if you do it 52 weeks, what is that? It's like $27. So another $30. So instead of $100 a week, do $130 a week, right? And this will change your life in 10, 15, 20, 30 years. I'm telling you, it'll change your life. Now, that being said, it will change your life, but I'm here to tell you that, first of all, we all know I hate fees. I hate fees. I hate fees. And I'm going to tell you why. Because fees, in general, hold us back. All right? And I want you to do this investing. I want you to do it no matter what. I want you to start this year. But listen, Jane, Karen, Sue, Bob, you don't need an advisor. Everybody's, well, I'm going to get together with my advisor and he's going to show me. No. And here's the thing, right? 90% of all advisors, 90%, have been beaten by an ETF, an exchange-traded fund, over the history of exchange-traded funds. Some years they're up, some years they're down. But 90% of the time, an exchange-traded fund like a VOO, because of its low fees and because it invests in America, the best companies in America, beats any advisor, right? So I'm going to show you how basically the average advisor wants 1%. Right? 1% a year. And they're going to tell you,
don't listen to John. He doesn't know what he's talking about. You don't know investing. It's super complicated. And you have to come with me and pay me 1%. It's so small.
And you're like, it's 1%, John. What do we care? Come on. Stop being so cheap. Yeah? You call me cheap? No problem. I like when people call me cheap. The problem is, Mary, is I might be cheap, but you're giving away $100,000 plus. What? Yes. Now I got your attention, right? All of a sudden? Listen, if we were going to throw Joe over here a couple of bucks every year for our investments, who cares, right? We got a guy and we got a guy and he's reliable and I'm going to put all my money with him and it makes me feel better. And listen, I went to Seton Hall for finance. I was supposed to be a financial advisor. I got nothing against these guys. They have to make money, right? They do. The thing is, and some people need advisors, okay? You got a big estate, you got a complicated tax situation, you need advisors. Your average person, right, does not need an advisor. Your average, and most advisors don't want small people anyway. Right? They want people with $1 million, $2 million, $3 million in assets because that's how they make money. But you, as Joe Q investor, you don't need one. You need an account like an M1 Finance. And they've made it so easy to invest. And you need low fees, right? That's what you need, those two things. So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna bring this up on the screen for you guys. But I'm gonna show you simple math, right? Let's say you first invested $1,000. You put $1,000 into the account. And then with an 8%, because that's about average for the last 40, 50 years, an 8% return, right? With $100 per week, because that's what I would love for you guys to do. $100 per week, right? That's our goal. And let's say if you're using the VOO, the Vanguard fund, right, in M1, because M1 doesn't charge fees, and the Vanguard fund is so low, it's 0.03. So in a 25-year span, you would have given the M1 finance account $131,000. It's a lot of money, right? Now hold on. At 8% compounded for all those years, you would have in your account over $400,000. That's terrific. That's phenomenal, right? And this is what I'm going to show you is the amazing thing of compound interest and compound fees, right? So that same amount of money, I put $1,000 to start. I have an 8% return. I'm putting $100 a week away for 25 years. Now, your average advisor is saying 1%. But here's the reality. It's not 1%, right? Because that advisor, how smart they are, woman, man, whatever they are, how smart they are, they're going to put you in a fund. I'm telling you, I will guarantee you, they're going to put you in some sort of fund. That fund is going to charge you, in addition to their fees, anywhere between 0.5% and 1.5%. So now I have the advisor's fees and I have the fund fees. So now I'm not paying 1%, I'm paying 2.5%, 3%. Okay? So let's assume, best case scenario, 2%. 2%, right? 1% for the advisor, 1% for the fund. Now, all of a sudden, Karen, you have, after 25 years, with that same $131,000 investment, you now only have $298,000. That's correct, Karen. You now gave away $102,000. Maybe you like Joe, your advisor, that much. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you got something on the side with him. That's great. I don't like Joe that much. I just don't. And I'm not giving away that kind of money. And here's my next thing. Okay? So let's say you're doing that. But now let's assume you're going only 5 more years. We're going 30 years instead of 25. Give me a nanosecond. I have to recalculate. So now we're going 30 years. Okay? Here we go. At the same $1,000 original investment, we're going 30 years, right? We're contributing $100 per week, every week at 8%, right? And we're doing our regular 3% Vanguard and our 2% to our buddy, Joe. 5 more years, people. And what did I just say? It cost you $100,000 for 25 years. Now we're going to 30 years because this is really where the compounding, it hits the pavement. Not only in fees, but in how much you've made. So at this point, I've invested $157,000, right? 5 more years. Now we're at 30 years. Now my return is $620,000, right? That's $220,000 more than 5 years ago. That is amazing. This is what compound interest does. This is what I'm trying to convince you and saying, once you start putting that money in, no matter what, do not take it out. This is your savings for your retirement. Period. The end. Okay? So now that we've gained $220,000, that's terrific. But that's at my Vanguard 0.03% on my fees. Now let's go over to Joe. Hey Joe, how are you? I'm good, John. So it cost us $100,000 5 years ago. Now all of a sudden it's $160,000 we've handed over to Joe. Only 5 years. $60 more thousand we've given to Joe. Again, Joe's a nice guy. Maybe you go play baseball or have a drink with him. Terrific guy. Pick up the tab. But don't give him 1%, and especially don't give him 2% by 1% for him and 1% for whatever ridiculous fund he's putting you in. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. I'm going to explain one more thing. I just want one more little tidbit, all right? So stay with me. Let's go back to the 25 years, right? And let's say instead of the $100 a week, you do what I'm suggesting. You take half of your return, your tax return, and throw that into the kitty. So now we're $130 a week. Let me change this back to 25 years, right? Contribution is now $130 per week, every week. 8% per year. Okay, let's let that run. Okay, now before, if you remember, you had $400,000. Okay, $400,000, and that's what your contribution of $100 per week, right? Now you've contributed $170,000 because you had that extra $30 per week. But now, in the 25 years, instead of $400,000, you are now at $520,000 for just $30 more a week. I can't explain to you how important it is to put as much as you can, right? And I can't explain to you anymore that once you start this, and please, I know I like joking around here, and I really have a good time, and I hope it's entertaining, but this is coming from the heart. You have to start. And once you start, do not stop. The number one thing that I see people make mistakes is they start it, and maybe they get so aggressive. You know what, John? I'm going to do $200 a week. That's great. That's awesome. The problem is they can't really sustain $200 a week. And they do it for a couple weeks or a month or even a year, which is tremendous. And then something bad happens, right? They lose their job or something really happens to, God forbid, a family member, and they need money. So then they stop the investment. What I'd rather see you do is do less for longer. So let's say you can't do $100 per week. That's fine. Just start. M1 Finance has made it so easy. You can do $25 a week, right? And it comes directly out of your checking account, and they'll put it right into that VOO. And let's even say after a couple of weeks, you want something else. You know what, John? I really like whatever, IBM or Target or Tesla or whatever stock you like. Terrific. Go to that pie, open it up, add a slice, and put a small percentage towards that new stock that you love. But don't stop the investing. Let that happen every week. Minimum every other week if you get paid every other week. I can't implore this enough. Okay, guys? This is where your 2022 is going to become your best year ever. Yeah, maybe you can't buy a couple more lattes at Wawa or Starbucks because, John's making me put money. Okay, I'm sorry. But when you're in your twilight years and you want to stop working and you don't want to go to work for Wawa or Starbucks, right? Listen, you can. I do DoorDash. I enjoy it. You can do whatever you want. The key here is you don't have to. And what I suggest is, if you're older and listening to me and you're going to start this for yourself, please explain it to your kids and start your kids immediately. Immediately, right? And also what I suggest is that you put this all in a Roth IRA. And M1 Finance, they can accommodate a Roth IRA. This way you're accomplishing two things. You're having your savings grow tax-free, which is amazing, and you have a tax plan now. You have your retirement plan. Now, if you work for a company and they have a 401 or you already have an IRA and you're maxed out, great, that's fine. You don't have to do it. But if you're not capitalizing on some sort of retirement fund, I would start the M1 Finance with specifically with a Roth IRA. So this income grows tax-free. Yes, it's not going to help you now as a regular traditional IRA that you can write off in your taxes. But here's why I don't like that. Because we don't know what these geniuses in Washington are going to do. Who knows what the tax rate's going to be in 10, 15, 20 years. With these geniuses, it could be 90%. Now you worked your whole life, right? And you put money away. And yes, okay, you've gotten the tax benefit of taking, in a traditional IRA, taking the money off today. But who knows what tomorrow's going to bring? And let's say you have 4 or 5 or 6 or $1 million or $2 million in the bank. And now you start taking it out. Who knows? If you put it in a traditional, you have to pay taxes on that when you take it out. If you put it in a Roth IRA, you pay taxes just like your normal income this year. And then anywhere it grows, it could go for whatever. All that money is tax-free to you. Okay? So, what are you going to do, Karen? What are you doing today? Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month. Today, you're going to start investing. Listen to me. You don't have to use M1 Finance. You don't have to use VOO, although I believe those two things are terrific, very cheap. But whatever you do, start today. Okay? Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.
Okay, I'm gonna make people make some money. We're making money. We're making money. I'm a little crazy. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. 2022.